Good day, everyone. Today is October 2nd, 2024. Happy Taco Tuesday to everybody. Hope everyone had a good weekend last weekend. Everyone's having a good week so far this week. We are out of time, people. The rapture is coming any second. We are going to be gone sometime this month. I can feel it. All of my followers can feel it. It's coming. Well, anyways, today I'm going to talk about something I never talked about. Only one person I really talked to about it, but she was there. She kind of experienced what I experienced, and we just never talked about it. We're not around each other anymore, but it was the most supernatural night of my life. And it really opened my eyes, one, to reptilians are real, and B, there is a spiritual world out there that is way more real than the physical. And they walk amongst us, and they can come into this dimensional realm whenever they like. And they can reach out, and they can touch you for real. And I'm gonna start this off that this happened around 2016 or 15. I was at a hotel in downtown Indianapolis. It was a very rundown and transient hotel. It was the only hotel that I could find the whole week a vacancy for during Christmas, so I took it. And the second I got into this hotel, I felt a darkness, a heaviness to it. I could tell that there's been a lot of overdoses and deaths in this hotel. Maybe even murder, a lot of drug dealing, prostitution. I mean, it was an awful hotel. And I didn't know that until it was too late. I already booked a whole week, so I had to stay there. And just walking in, I could feel the evilness, the heaviness, the darkness as soon as I walked in. And right when I walked in, I believe I played the exorcism prayer in Latin, and I walked across every floor. I think there was 3 floors or 4, maybe even 5 floors. And I walked amongst most of them and played the Latin exorcism prayer throughout the hallways of each level on my speaker on my phone, really loud. And then I went to my room, and I know I woke and pissed something off, because as soon as I sat down in the room, I started hearing tapping on my window. And we were on the 3rd or 4th floor, and I was like, what could be tapping our window at the middle of the night? And I assumed it was a bird, but I also realized it's the winter time. There's not many birds in the Midwest in Indiana in the winter. Most of them fly south. Very few stay in Indiana, especially during the Christmas time of season. It's just so cold, and it just freezes a bird within hours. But I kept hearing this tapping, and it just annoyed me. And I tried to just forget it, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And I opened up the blinds, because there was a cloth blind that went over the window, and I flashed it flat, and I just opened it really fast. And I looked and I didn't see any bird. And I looked down, and in the parking lot there's this old white van, and there was a street light over the white van that was shining onto the white van. And something caught my eye of this white van, and I could see 2 outlines of 2 humanoid beings fighting each other. It was like, if you ever seen The Predator, how it has that cloaking device over its armor suit, and it looks like the surrounding environment, but you can see the outline of the predator and its eyes and stuff. That's exactly what I saw, of 2 beings fighting each other, throwing each other against this van, just destroying it, thrashing it. Like they look like 2 humanoid reptilians with tails and everything. And they were just beating the crap out of each other for some stupid reason. And the van was just flying back and forth. Sometimes it floated off the ground. The wheels came off the ground. Like, it was insane. And I was like, is there anyone else seeing this? And I told the person I'm with to come check it out. And she saw it and she just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I just shut the blinds and I was like, what did we just see? And she was like, I don't know, but no one's gonna believe us. Just sit back down, watch TV and forget it never happened. I was like, I can't do that. So I opened up the blinds again and they were gone. They were gone. The van was just normal sitting there. It looked all beat up from maybe its claws and throwing each other into the van. 'Cause these were huge beans. I mean, they were throwing each other against this van and it was lifting the van off the ground, the wheels and everything, momentarily. Like, these were huge beans. And I was looking down to where I was and I could see one person was looking out in the parking lot on the first floor. It looked like an old lady. I assume she lived there. A lot of people in this rundown hotel pay monthly there, and they actually live at this facility. And I could tell this lady's been there for a while. She's seen a lot of shit, and I think she saw what we saw. She was looking at what we were looking at, and I was like, this is absolutely insane. So I shut the blinds and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, am I going crazy? She saw what I saw. You know, like, if this happens again, I'm gonna take a picture of it with my phone and a video, and people are gonna believe me. Because ever since I was a child, I knew the spiritual was more real than physical. I didn't need to see this to believe the spiritual world, but I started realizing that there are actual dimensional beings, such as reptilians, that are real. This is the first situation that I've actually seen real reptilians. And it blew my mind. It confirmed everything that I've read about, because I've always went down rabbit holes about these Draco reptilian that rule the elites, and they have hybrids amongst us that are the celebrities, the politicians, the athletes. They're all Rh negative bloodline reptilian hybrids, or they're actually Draco reptilians that can shapeshift physically, or they can bend light and matter of this dimension to where you think you see a human, but it's actually a 10-foot tall, 350-pound, muscle-bound reptile humanoid. But anyways, I shut the blinds, I sit on the couch, I forget which movie we were watching, but we started watching, I think it was Supernatural. We were watching Supernatural on top of everything else, and it just piqued my interest. I was a little shaken up. I don't get scared really by anything, but I was shaken. Like, it scared me, because I knew if these beings saw me or knew that I saw them, they would just rip me apart like nothing, and no one would see anything. And I knew that this facility was just like, it either had a dimension, a portal above it, underneath it, or in it. And I think these beings were just flying out of it. And I shut the blinds and I lay back down and watched the movie or show or series or whatever. And about 2 more hours later, we're all laying in bed sleeping, and I hear scratching, like not just any scratching, but actually a claw, like going against the glass of the window, like trying to just scare me and annoy me and wake me up. And I heard it for about 3 or 4 minutes. And finally I had enough balls to open up the cloth that was draping over the window, and I saw the most hideous, scariest looking cryptid you could ever imagine. It looked like it had like a Grim Reaper cloak on it, on the head, and black, and went all the way to the feet, and the cloak was pulled back. It was like it was a white clown looking like cryptid. It was humanoid. It had red eyes, orange red eyes. It had these big sharp huge teeth, big gums. The teeth were sharp as razors. They were yellow as can be. The gums were like a grayish black. Its eyes, like I said, were blood red with orange fire in them. Its skin was pale white, like it was a dead body gets when it's dead for a long time, just gets pale white, like decayed. And it had hair on both sides of its head, and then it was bald on top, and in the middle of the head on top, it had like a bushel of hair, and the hair was like an orangish reddish color. It looked like a clown, like a demonic clown. It kind of looked like Stephen King's It, but it was a lot thinner. The face was a lot thinner, and it was just a lot scarier looking. Like, its teeth were so big, its gums, its mouth almost was the same size of its it was like 90% of its head. It was weird. It had a huge head. It was so disorienting, and it was so disfigured, and it just scared the Jesus out of me. And when I pulled back the drapes, I call it drapes, and I looked out to the window, its face was literally maybe 6 or 7 inches from my face. The only thing that was separating us was a window that literally slid sideways open, but it locked on my side. But this being was at least 10 feet tall, I assume, and it was literally, I don't know if it was climbing the wall or if it was floating, but its face was like parallel with mine. It was going up and down like my face, and it was like 6 or 7 inches away from my face, and it looked straight into my soul, it felt like. And it scared the living bejesus out of me. The scariest part was the girl that I was with saw the same thing. And she saw from her pinpoint view of her on the bed with her head towards the backboard of the bed, she started screaming. And I was pale white. I had all the blood fall on my face. I couldn't even scream. I couldn't do anything. I was just paralyzed in fear. And she screamed so loud. And then all of a sudden, I could hear windows opening up below us. And it was that lady on the first floor. I could hear her head stuck out. I heard her window open. But this is what happened. I heard her window open. I heard other windows open because I heard the screaming. And they probably saw its feet or its cloak floating in the window. Who freaking knows? And it just disappeared. Like instantly. It was so weird. And I opened up the window and I looked down, and the old lady's head was sticking out. I think she saw what we saw, and I was like, "Did you see what I saw?" And she didn't say anything. She just looked at me in fright and just looked at me, looked back down, and just went back inside and shut her window. And other people's windows were open, but I couldn't tell because no one's head stuck out. I was like, "Did anyone see what I saw?" And no one answered me. So I just shut the window. And I was petrified. I wanted to leave that hotel, but I didn't feel safe. I felt like the reptilians would get us if we walked outside. And I think that this being knew that I saw the reptilians, and it kind of scared me, saying, "You better not tell anyone what you saw. And we know that you know." That's what I felt. And it scared me, and it worked. And I was up for all night. And I'd say around 4 or 5 in the morning, I was smoking a cigarette after cigarette, and I finally had enough balls to look out the window again, and I saw two like Grim Reaper looking cloaks with the hood over its head, so you couldn't see anything, and they were floating side by side by the tree downstairs in like the garden area where you walk to your parking lot in your cars. It was like the garden area of the hotel facing the highway and the mall across the street. And these two beings were just floating, it looked like. One was smaller than the other, and I had a sense, like a telepathic sense, that one was a female and one was a male. And the male was the entity that I saw at the window, and the female was watching out for the male while it harassed and who knows, even maybe have killed somebody. And it was the lookout for the other one. And I just knew right away it was the female and that was the male. And as soon as I was looking at him, I could sense the male turn around and saw me. I didn't see its face this time because it had a hood over its head. It was just black, but I knew it saw me, so I shut the curtain, the cloth curtain, and I lay back in bed. And then I fell asleep. Finally, I was just exhausted. I took a picture and a video of all this, and I sent it to friends that I trusted and family I trusted, and they all saw it. And it was clear as day to me that these two were standing side by side in cloaks. but it was really dark out. It was away from the lamp, and they said they can see what I'm talking about. They don't believe it is what I see. And I was like, you guys are crazy. And everyone called me crazy and insane. But I know what I saw. I posted it on Facebook. I had a lot of family members and friends say I was crazy. And my mom and my family called and told me to remove the post. So I did. And I sent it to my children and ex-wife. And my ex-wife said she believed me, but I don't think she did. And it hurt because I know what I saw. The person that was with me saw what I saw, except for the reptilians fighting. Really, she didn't really see all that, but she did see this being, his face, and how close it was, and just how scary it was, and it just hurt because these stories, no one's going to believe you, and they all think you're crazy, and it sucks. It's probably what people that saw Bigfoot and werewolves go through, because we know what we saw. And when you have a significant other or a friend seeing what you saw to confirm it, it's crazy and it sucks. But this is the world we live in. If people can't see it on a video or feel it themselves, they just can't believe you, and it's sad. Because these beings and entities all work for the fallen ones, and the Dark One himself, Lucifer, and they're all like on a team together. I feel that the clown looking thing, Grim Reaper that I saw, it could have been a Grim Reaper, I don't know. It knew the reptilians, and I think it worked with them. I think what I saw was more spiritual, and the reptilians are more physical, like interdimensional aliens, and they're just on our realm, looking for the next victim, or maybe to possess someone. And I think the Grim Reaper was following these reptilians because wherever they went, death lurked behind it, and it was ready to claim those souls. It was scary, and it takes a lot of balls to post this stuff, especially on YouTube, being judged by people you don't even know. But this really happened. I know that the picture and the video is still on my Gmail cloud account, and I was going to post it and show people, but I don't care because I'm telling you what I saw. I don't need the videos to be believed and to confirm what I know really happened. And if these beings, which are going to be here for tribulation, there's no hope for humanity, because as soon as that veil's lifted and Holy Spirit's gone and God lets loose these beings and entities off their leash, they're gonna cut people in half and torture them and kill them like it's nothing, like it's us stepping on an ant. That's how easy it is for these beings to literally kill somebody or something. And it's gonna be scary, because these things, I've never seen something so hideous and scary in my life. Not even on a horror movie. Like, this thing makes the It Clown look like nothing. And It Clown's scary, but it's nothing compared to how scary this thing looks. I knew it was the real thing. This thing, I could tell in its eyes, it wanted to kill me. It knew I was a true Christian, and I had salvation, and I had the Holy Spirit in me, and it knew it couldn't hurt me, but it wanted to so bad. And the worst part about this was I overdosed the next day in the bathroom of that same hotel room. And then when I came out of the hospital back to the hotel room, the lady on that first floor had a heart attack, and it showed her being carried out in an ambulance on a stretcher. I don't know if she made it or not, but she had a heart attack literally like 3 or 4 days after the event. So take it as you want, with a grain of salt. I'm just telling you what really happened. And I think that Grim Reaper was there to take my soul the next day. So everybody stay aware. Keep your spirit in the Word. Repent every day, all day. Give God His glory that He deserves over your food and just being alive, and being healthy with your family and friends. And gave God and His Son Yahshua the glory they deserve. Jesus is knocking, answer.